Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and our regular, the lovely Linda Brooks Curtis, has been gone for a while, so I'm very happy to have her back. We're both happy to have her back. Thank you, Linda. She's on my left. On my
Nice
further
to
left.
see you.
Yeah. On my further left, immediately, my left, affectionately, our aging rocker Emmet. So, Emmet and I have been doing a series of one-on-ones lately, and it was fun.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, we did like a comparison of religions in one episode, and then we did another episode of following your dreams and things like that. You know how people have a plan for their life or a dream, but then a boyfriend or a husband takes it away or something.
Yeah.
We talked about all of that and just other things too.
Did you want some soda? That was the secret ingredient or not?
Yeah, I'll take some of that. I'll use this cup here.
What's the secret ingredient?
The soda.
Let me explain what that means. In the movie Star Trek number 3, I don't know if you saw it or not.
No, number
I
5.
think you told
I'm sorry,
me
number
about
5.
that, but it bears
Yeah, number
repeating.
5, yeah. Well, anyway, Captain Kirk and Dr. McCoy and Spock were having a cookout at the Yosemite National Park.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. McCoy was making some beans, and his ingredient was alcohol they put in the beans, but Spock didn't know that. So Spock was gobbling up the beans and really enjoying it. And Spock says, I can't recognize this flavor. It has a different kind of a flavor to these beans.
Mm-hmm.
McCoy says, that's our secret recipe for the McCoy family for generations.
Yeah.
And then Dr. McCoy tells Spock it was his Tennessee gin that they poured in the beans.
Mm-hmm.
Spock says, am I to assume that your secret ingredient is just beans? Alcohol in the beans? And Dr. McCoy says, yeah, that's the secret ingredient. Captain Kirk says, you got any more of that secret ingredient? So I borrowed that, so whenever Emmett has his Coca-Cola, which he loves,
Yep.
he and I just call it the secret ingredient.
Wonderful.
'Cause they're not endorsing alcohol anymore.
Yeah.
It's just Coke. Just a joke based on
Yeah,
Star
yeah.
Trek 5.
Fascinating, yep.
Well, Linda, it's good to see you again. It's good to have you back. Really good to have you back.
Thank you. It's nice to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, let's...
I was busy with the fair and politics.
Well, let's talk about that. How did you get in... First of all, you want to start us off, Emmett?
Oh, yes. Heavenly Father, bless our food and our time together in Jesus' name.
Okay, now let's talk about you since you were gone. You were doing the fair... not the fair, what was it called?
Well, as you know, I'm very strongly interested in politics.
Yeah, I knew
because
that.
I feel that it's my duty to help save the country.
Mm-hmm.
And the country is definitely going in the wrong direction in a lot of ways. So I've been affiliated with the Republican Party, Republican Women, and
Okay.
an organization called Pachyderms,
Mm-hmm.
and attending meetings and doing projects. And I've also been out walking door to door for Americans for Prosperity.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you had been doing with
Just
most of your
trying
time.
to, just trying to meet and greet the public and try to do what I can to influence them positively toward the ideas that I believe in.
Uh-huh.
And the highlight of the week before last was serving as a volunteer for the reception for Ryan Zinke and Trey Gowdy. And I got my picture taken with Trey Gowdy and got his
Wow.
autograph. And I had a shirt on that just fit the occasion because in bold white letters on red it says, "This is what a Republican looks like."
I see, okay.
And I really think that Trey Gowdy definitely represents Republicans. And so
Now, did
this
they
evening-
ask you to get involved? You just volunteered for that?
Well, they needed volunteers
Oh,
to
I
help,
see.
to help set up and serve, and I ended up taking tickets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And
Two
what was,
leaders
it,
were
what was the other
taking
thing?
tickets.
Oh, sorry
And
about
the
that.
other thing was serving in the fair booth at the fair.
for the same organization at the fair?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And
So
I
that
met
would
lots of
explain why you were
people
gone for so
and was
while.
able to have positive interaction.
That's good.
And it was funny, I walked around the fair grounds
Uh-huh.
to buy a cup of coffee, ostensibly, but people kept commenting positively when I wore that shirt.
Whoa.
And they
Wow.
wanted to buy one.
Okay, that's, wow. So were they selling those shirts, or that just was one?
Well, they had run out of their first order and they needed to get in another order.
I see.
So there probably will be some available from Republican Women or at the main office at 1330 West Broadway.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I'm really
Well,
glad you're back. So,
I also was a representative at the gun show over at
Good.
the university.
Oh, okay.
That was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Positive interactions.
Wonderful. Yeah, I've been to gun shows. I really like them. If I had any money, you know, I'd probably at least for some books or something or survival stuff. It's really
Uh-huh.
cool. I really like gun shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we just sold those shirts hand over fist there.
Wonderful.
Boy, isn't it amazing? Like I tell Emmett, I normally don't talk about politics and religion, but isn't it amazing the elections are almost here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we
That's
still
what I'm going to
don't
say
have,
about that. It's just,
we
no.
still don't have an indictment, and all the news gets worse. and
I know,
worse.
but we'll just, actually, I'm just curious. And that's all I'm just curious how it's going to turn out.
Mhm.
What is it, November 4th is when they...
I thought it was November 7th or 8th. November
Okay.
7th is the
Seventh.
first Tuesday of
Oh,
November.
yeah, that's right. Well, it'll be most interesting to see who's
Yes.
going to win or how it's going to turn out. Of all the years I've known about elections, this is probably the wackiest, wouldn't
It
you
is.
say?
It is.
The most unusual.
Yes.
And I don't mean necessarily in a bad way, just different when I say unusual.
Yeah.
It's just very different. So I'll just leave it at that. I am curious though. I'm going to be watching the news with interest and see.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the 2012 election was worse than disappointing. Worse than disappointing. And I was so glad to see things improve in the 2014
Mhm.
midterm elections.
Right. Well, we'll find out pretty soon. Changing the subject, did you get to see the Olympics at all?
A little bit.
How about Michael Phelps? Isn't that something what that young man has accomplished?
Very, very impressive. Very
No, he's the
impressive.
most decorated athlete in history now.
And he is so accomplished.
He has 28 medals. 23 of them are gold.
Mhm.
That is mind-boggling.
Yes.
And he's been doing it for some 15 something years or something like that, as far as because they had the Olympics every 4 years or something like
Mhm.
that. And he said that he's going to stop now. He's on top. He's already set the records and medals. And I think that's a good way to go out. And his team did a wonderful thing for him too. They made sure they won that last swimming relay, for him to get that gold medal.
Yeah.
I thought that was very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I was never into the Olympics because I'm not a sports fan. So I've never really been into the Olympics, And plus, all it did was they even had it on channel 176, BBC America, when my Star Trek The Next Generation marathons were supposed to go on. They'd have the Olympics. Like, I want to watch my Star Trek.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe not everybody's into the Olympics, but what's good about that is how it brings nations together.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
That-
even if it's not real necessarily, or
Yeah.
just for a fleeting moment,
yeah,
it brings
yeah.
nations together.
That
And
is
it's
true.
kind of cool to watch people from other nations accomplish things.
Yeah, that is good.
Like that guy, they call him Bolt. He kept doing this with like the lightning bolt, like Zeus. He was like setting these world records in track. So everybody started making that Zeus sign or whatever, like the lightning
Yeah.
bolt sign.
Well, I think it's a common effort, and I think it's a good way for people to show patriotism
Mm-hmm.
as well as relating to other citizens of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I just couldn't take my eyes off the Olympics. But especially liked both women's and men's gymnastics. And
I like the gymnastics too. I used to do that when I was in high school.
diving. And then sometimes like the decathlons and the sprinting. So.
Yeah, I did gymnastics when I was in high school. That'd be unheard of for me to do it now.
Years ago, at a Thanksgiving dinner that a friend of mine had, I invented a new sport instead of football or something. How about washing machine ball? Here's how you play it. You take a football and you roll it to the washing machine, and then you pick it up and everyone claps, yay! And you tuck the football under your arm and you talk to the washing machine. Hi, washing machine, how are you? What's that? Oh, I know. And it's kind of like in several players. Whoever talks to the washing machine the longest, with the longest running conversation without getting bored, wins.
You remember that joke that Cheryl said about you when you brought that up?
Yeah.
She said, did they ever stick you in the dryer and have your hair stick up?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that show is not even 2 months old. I've gotten about some 320 views. That's the most watched Asaph Cafe I've ever done.
When was that?
Or maybe about a month and a half ago by now. We had a guest, two of my neighbors, BJ and Cheryl.
Oh, yeah.
They were here, and I knew it was going to be a hit when they appeared, but I didn't realize how much of a hit it was going to be because those two ladies came on, and all of a sudden, everybody's tuning in.
Is something beeped? Oh well.
Well, it's not me because my phone's off at the moment.
Might have been my phone, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most watched Asaph Cafe I've ever done so far. When BJ and Cheryl were on, and they were just funny.
Well, I'm sure they had very good chemistry.
They did. Oh my goodness, it was so funny.
Because you are a good friend, you know.
Yeah, they're good friends. They're
Quite
best friends,
positive.
and I just thank these ladies when I see them. They both live next door to me. And Cheryl has a relative friend that wants to appear, and I think he's going to try to break that record. So we'll see.
Well, I asked Uncle Sam to come on.
Okay, that would have been interesting.
I have a dear friend who has an Uncle Sam costume.
Interesting, yeah.
And he looks very much like the image.
Cool.
But he had to work in his field, on his ranch.
Cool, huh? Yeah.
So I think it was all right that I took the liberty of asking him.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind. It would have been cool to have Uncle Sam on.
Absolutely.
Well, the door's still open if he has time. Just tell him. He's always welcome. I missed a note in there somewhere, but anyway, yeah. If Uncle Sam wants to appear, and it'd just be perfect timing between now and the elections coming up. So let him know.
And he's very entertaining. So.
Oh, I would love to have my. I have some extra cards that I had made up since I saw you last. Let me give you one to give to him.
Oh, okay.
If you think of it, and I'll give you one too. Emmett, did I give you one?
Yes.
I thought I did.
Thank you very much.
There's two of them. One for you and one for him. Because I can't remember giving you one.
Oh, in your white suit.
Yeah.
Your white tuxedo.
Yeah, those are brand new. They printed 500 of those for $9.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
So I will give one of these to the director of Missoula Manor, and so that they can contact you if they want to hire you for something.
Okay.
And just a reminder to both of you and all the viewers that Missoula Manor is still conducting its raffle ticket sales to help supplement some residents' fees with their living expenses because being on a fixed income and having those expenses, there isn't always enough money to cover them.
Yeah.
So we have a raffle ticket sale every year to raise money for our endowment fund, which helps provide those for needy seniors. we were selling tickets at Rose Hours last week. I forgot to tell you I was doing that too.
Okay.
And plus I was selling tickets at the manor itself. And people would come in the door, they'd look and they'd see us. And so many of them had relatives connected with the manor or who had lived there for a long period of time that they made a point of getting at least some tickets. Almost
Okay.
everybody who showed up. And the employees came out and bought tickets.
Cool.
So it's been successful. There's always a need for more people to buy tickets, so
Okay.
we'll be selling them. Our halfway point is August 30th,
Okay.
and the drawing will be held September 28th. Something to be aware of is there is no discrimination of how those tickets go into the hopper. And with a $1 ticket, you can be the $1,000 cash winner.
Wow.
Plus, there are 53 other prizes and a plug for MCAT Studio. MCAT Studio donated a 5-week course in animation as a prize.
Oh wow,
Which is
that would be
gonna be-
worth yeah.
I know.
Some kid's gonna love that, or some teenager's
Yes,
gonna love
yes.
that.
And so some of the people at the manor are a little bit excited about maybe they could win that because that would be a very nice present for a grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, and we have Joel to thank for that because he said, well, that would be a good PR, public relations thing to do.
Cool. Good.
Mm-hmm.
So get your raffle tickets.
Yep. Get them while they're hot.
You know, we are not giving away the 40 pounds of bacon this year, but there are a lot of service type things like hair salons and beauty salons and animal groomers and animal sitters and things like that, which certainly are very, very nice prizes.
Yeah,
And,
really. I see. Okay, cool.
It's nice to be able to buy $10 or so in tickets, but when you have the same chance as everybody else just with one ticket, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we have you over entertaining at the manor.
Well, we'll see. I'll play it by ear. We'll see. We'll see.
Ave Maria?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the Prelude in C.
Is it?
These keys are getting hard to push down again. And then they have a notice on here. Somebody erased the recorded songs on this instrument.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't tell that you're faking now.
Yeah. Well, no, really. Somebody deleted the program on this thing here, whatever the recorded music
Oh,
was
That's
on
awful.
here.
Yeah, it is.
So they got a note on here telling people, asking them not to do that again. But
Incidentally,
these keys are starting to get hard to push down. I think this probably needs maintenance and stuff like that.
when the manor donated that other piano to you,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have the electronic advantages with it.
Yeah, you were talking about the transposing advantages.
But you were able to get it into really good shape so that it sounds excellent when you are playing.
Well, I cleaned that piano out too when they delivered it.
Oh, yeah. And
Raleigh
Raleigh
told me
dots.
exactly how to do it. Just take a cloth and get inside it. But there were hardly no cobwebs in there anyway. It was already pretty much
That's
clean.
good, yeah.
But I just wiped it inside because he asked me to do that.
Yeah, I think they had been
And
vacuuming it
Yeah,
out.
and I wiped the keys off and everything the proper way. And what was interesting how they delivered that piano, you know how people try to lift it and heave ho? That's the worst thing you could do to
Yeah.
a piano, even an upright. They had this motorized wheel on a crane that spun automatically as it went up each step. It was motorized, and that's how they got it in. And it was strapped onto this conveyor-like thing, is the way to describe it, with a motorized wheel. There's this big wheel that just made it effortless go up the steps.
I know, I had a piano, just a small little, not, I can't remember what they're called.
Right.
It was about the size of that I rented from Southern Nevada Music.
Uh-huh.
And I swore I would never have it on a second floor again. My piano. So
Yeah.
my
No, there's
big
a right way to
piano-
do a right way and a wrong way to do that. Anyway, changing the subject, I was asking Emmett earlier, are you familiar with Chandra Pierce, the comedian, Christian comedian? Have you ever heard of her?
I probably have.
You might recognize her if you see her. She has blonde hair. She's known as the Queen of Clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's her reputation.
That's nice.
Yep.
And I just think that's a wonderful thing. I'm going to probably do a story on her tomorrow. That's why I brought her up.
Uh-huh.
She is one of those comedians that does family, wholesome shows.
And
Fun
it's
shows that-
funny, too.
Yeah, that you can see children, because they'll show children in the audience, like 10-year-olds,
Oh, wonderful.
12-year-olds and stuff like that, teenagers. And it's just nice to be able to see a comedian that can do a show and it be very clean.
And not get...
No bad language, no
Yeah.
cuss words, no innuendos and things. Just genuinely fun stuff. You might recognize if you see her.
Well, I always have my radio set, my AM radio set
Uh-huh.
at SOS Radio.
Right.
And so I've, constantly hear speakers and humorists and things.
Uh-huh. There's another guy on, I think it's SOS. I know he's on Your Network of Praise. Darren Strebelo. Have you ever heard of him? He's a radio host. And what he does is he sets up these comedian concerts all over the U.S., even though he's a radio host. And they're all clean. They're all funny. And there was this one guy, he was doing some impressions of singers in the past that the younger generation didn't know who they were. And that's what made it funny. So he was demonstrating what it would be like to have someone like Bob Marley sing the national anthem. It's like, oh, say, can you see, man? By the dawn of the nightly, man. It was really, really funny. He was like doing his Bob Marley. And then he said, now let's see what it'd be like if Bob Dylan did the national anthem. He's like, oh, hey, can you see by the dawn of the light?
Yep.
And he just did all these impersonations of these famous singers of the past doing a national anthem. And of course the younger generation didn't know who these people were. That's what made it even more funny. And when the comedian got the Bob Dylan, he says, well, if you guys don't know who Bob Dylan is, I don't care. I'm going to do him anyway. And it was really funny to have this comedian imitate singers and groups doing a little bit of the national anthem. He was like using that song to demonstrate it. And it was funny. It was just genuinely clean and funny.
Cool.
Well, speaking of the national anthem, I don't know how you feel, but I feel when people are asked to sing the national anthem at an important event, if they just use it to show off their voice in all kinds of outlandish stylization, they are being not loyal to the United States.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far,
Yeah.
but I do agree
Well,
with
it's
you
very,
that...
I find it very offensive.
No, and I understand. I do think that certain songs should be not overdone, like the national anthem. We want to talk about it. I think they should play it straight and plain. Because I remember one year I got an invitation to do the national anthem. I didn't do any tricks or anything. I just did it very
On your
plain.
trumpet?
Yeah, and ordinary at the time. And this middle-aged guy, he must have been a serviceman, retired serviceman. He walked up to me and said, "Young man, it's really nice to hear somebody play the national anthem without a bunch of notes and tricks." I said, "Thank you, sir." He must have been like in the 70s at that time. And people are,
It's
they're
not
watching.
respectful to
They're
just
watching,
use
you
it
know,
as
and
a-
I've seen singers add a bunch of notes or tricks
Yeah.
and all these little tricks.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's wrong, but I think in a case like the national anthem, I think it should be,
Yeah.
more respectful.
Right.
or just done plain, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you know, speaking of the national anthem, I always felt America the Beautiful should be our national anthem, but that's just my opinion.
Well,
That's just my opinion, I mean. And
the
I'm,
thing
you know,
is, the Star Spangled Banner was older, and it was
I know.
it was composed at the origin of the country,
Yeah, and I realized that too, so, but it was just a
which is
thought.
kind of interesting. Did you know that F. Scott Fitzgerald was a descendant of Francis Scott Key?
I didn't know that.
Yes, and that's why he had those first two initials.
I'll play that while you're talking. Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know that. I'm gonna play it plain. See. See, just playing. See.
But it is an interesting thought because America the Beautiful is so so descriptive,
Yeah.
down to earth, and singable.
Yeah.
You know, there are numerous people who can't manage to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
That's not an easy song to
just
sing, you
because of the
know.
wide
Yeah, it's not,
range.
yeah.
But and also the truth of the matter is the melody for it came from an old English drinking song.
I did not know that.
But yeah, I like America the Beautiful and God Bless America. And I went to the Franklin Graham prayer rally in Helena.
I heard. Oh, you did? I heard about that. How was that?
It was excellent, and he didn't get into politics.
I didn't think he would
but
because I don't think that's a good idea for a minister to get into politics. But that's just my
he
opinion.
usually doesn't, but he does so many things as the chief officer of Samaritan's Purse.
So he talked about the Samaritan's Purse?
No,
during- Oh, he didn't?
but
Okay.
I was just saying, and that's sort of the line that he was taking here. He said, you know, in order for our United States to survive, you have to take part. It's very
Yeah.
important that everybody take part instead of sitting back and later complaining about how things are. But while we were there, he didn't have any fancy big groups or anything. He just spoke, and there were about 5,000 people on the Capitol grounds. And I hadn't brought a chair to sit on, so I had to stand the whole time. And but he did have a guitarist singer who is the only accompaniment for that whole large group to sing America the Beautiful and God Bless America, and I can't remember what else. But so it was a very moving experience. And then we also were encouraged to pray aloud together,
Okay.
not a pre-written prayer, but for the various elements of government and participation.
Well, I think he's right about that part of it, yeah.
Oh, I know he is.
Yeah. So,
So it was very nice, and it wasn't like the Tower of Babel. It was people voicing prayers aloud for the various entities of government and the
Yeah.
participation.
how long was the event? Was it like 2 or 3 hours or
No,
something like
it
that?
only lasted about an hour.
Oh, that's it? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was from 12 noon until 1,
Oh.
maybe a couple minutes after 1.
It's a lot
And
shorter than I thought it was.
People
Okay.
had to come so far
Oh, yeah.
to get there. I left with the bus from Christian Life Center.
Oh, they went
and-
out there. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we had to leave at 8:30 to get there by 11:30.
Oh, wow.
And then we were there well within time.
So did you get a pretty reasonable view of Mr. Graham because of getting there at 11:30?
Yes, but I would have had if I were seated.
Okay.
But I was standing in it, I hate to admit that I'm not very tall. So there were lots of people I couldn't see over.
Oh yeah. So isn't it funny? Like in the cartoons, you go in a theater and sit. And there's always this one big guy that's got this big hat, like towering hat. It's like looking over Leaning Tower of Pisa or something. And
Yeah, so I didn't really get a good picture, but he wasn't grandstanding. He
Yeah.
wasn't appearing bigger than life on the stage. he was speaking directly
I
to
see.
people.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so when the Salvation Army came and started handing out bottles of water, and
Oh, wow.
another organization was there handing out little flags.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me to help them, so I was handing out flags.
Good for you. Yeah, the Salvation Army, that's a wonderful organization.
So that was another activity that I did, and that's why I've been gone.
Well, I'm really glad that
I think
you...
it's important to pray for the nation.
Yes.
No kidding.
Absolutely. That's commanded in Scripture. I can't remember which epistle, but St. Paul said that we should pray for those in authority that we can live tranquil
Yeah,
lives.
I want to say that's the book of Timothy, but don't quote me on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I know what you're talking about, so... Well, I'm glad you got to go see that.
And another thing that I'm so happy that Franklin Graham does
What was
is
that?
Samaritan's Purse, which is raising by charity,
Mm-hmm.
Christian charity, funds to help people out.
Well, they're
People-
busy. They're busy this month.
They're
That
busy
earthquake
really well
that they
with
had
the
just last
earthquake,
week.
with that huge flood that they had in
Yeah, and he mentioned that
Louisiana,
the Samaritan's Purse
and
was out there.
abroad. They've been rescuing Christians abroad for probably at least 5 years.
Yeah, what I like about that organization is like when there's an earthquake like the one we had just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
They mentioned Samaritan's Purse out there.
Oh
helping
yes,
out.
that's what they do. They
Mhm.
they raise money for charity and then they spend it on the activities they say they're going to spend it on instead of only 10%.
Okay.
I know, yeah.
No, but ooh, that must have been cool to see Franklin Graham. I assume he preached the gospel too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, that's good.
And he pointed out all of the examples
Do you remember what it was he
from
talked about?
Scripture that require us to participate and to be supportive of our own government.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you did your little part. That's wonderful. Well, I'm glad you're back too. So, right, Emmet? I don't
Oh,
know
yeah,
about
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Of course. This show wouldn't be the same without you.
Well, if
just
you could
wouldn't.
get BJ and Cheryl,
Yeah, but they couldn't do it all the time like you do, and there wouldn't be regulars either.
well, I think you sent that to me and I didn't get a chance to look at it. I'll look at it again.
I didn't send it to you?
Yeah, I think you did.
Well, if
But
I didn't, I can send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if I remember, it's season 8, episode 12, because we're in season 9 now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is episode 8, in fact. I'm sorry, episode 9. This is season 9, episode 9. 2 9s. 9. You know, 9 backwards is still 9.
Yeah.
Just like none. Spell
Yeah.
none backwards, N-U-N.
Yes.
Still none. Never mind, it's a corny joke. Anyway. Yeah, I do thank BJ and Cheryl for doing me a favor when they appeared on this show. You've got to see it. I thought I sent it to you. Maybe I didn't, but it was very funny when they were on. And Emmett was standing
Oh,
behind
yeah, I remember that, yeah.
the chair. We had moved the chair forward
Yeah.
when they were
He
here.
wasn't holding up V's over him, was he?
What?
No V's. No
No.
rabbit ears. No V's.
Nope.
Did I tell you about that?
No.
When I was a camera girl in Las Vegas in
Mhm.
1976, in the showroom, the MGM showroom, the old MGM showroom, a whole table full of television executives had bought that table out, and they wanted a picture together with a vignette of each one of them. And so in order to get everybody in the picture, I went up to the landing above to shoot the picture and had them sit in a V shape. Well, I thought I had a perfect picture, and I went, as I was getting down from the landing, a person said, "Do you know there were people holding up their hands, you know, like this?
Oh, I see.
Trying to ruin the picture." And so I went down to the table and I said, "You know, I'm really sorry, But I'm going to have to ask you to pose for this picture again because some people who couldn't afford a picture want it to be in yours.
Well, that's human nature, you know.
And when I came back with the finished pictures, it takes an hour for them to be done in the lab. The leader of the group said how much, because I told him I would just give them the vignette of each of them and a group picture for each of them, and I told him it was like $96 or something like that, and he held out $100 bill, and then he pulled it back, slid it back to show that there was $100 tip for me.
Wow.
They really appreciated my spirit in doing it that way.
Okay.
And they liked the picture. So that was neat. Because that job was just commission. I didn't have hourly pay.
Oh, okay.
I only made money on what I was able to sell.
Tequila.
I didn't sell tequila.
No, it's the name of the song I was attempting to play.
My son, for some reason, I had an old LP, songs from the 1950s that I like to use for when I produce scenes and things for sound effects. And he loved that song, but he didn't know what the word was.
Okay.
He would sort of hum the tune and then he'd go, Hakia!
Oh, yeah, it's tequila. It was some famous rock and roll group of the 50s, I believe, that did, and I can't think of their name right now.
I know.
It was a professional sax player. I want to say
Yes, and it had a
Hoots
lot-
Randolph, I think was his
A
name.
lot of rhythm and
And
a very catchy
Yeah, it did.
melody.
Yes.
And it wasn't much, you didn't have to be no virtuoso to play, but they looked like they were having fun. That sax player was just rocking back and forth doing that lead on that song. And they all screamed out, tequila! Da-da-da-da-da-da!
That's interesting.
Yeah, tequila! Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh well, I'm a singer. But anyway, that's a fun song to watch.
Yeah.
It really is. It was just a fun song.
Well, there have been very many, I know this is
Like
kind of
Yakety Yak. That was a
tried,
fun
there have
one.
been
And Charlie
very
Brown.
many entertaining and memorable musical groups, both visually and, audibly. Quite memorable. And it's nice that we have that as a treasured background.
See if you know this one.
Oh, I should know it.
I don't, yeah.
Well, I'm an oldie.
Yeah.
Why is everybody
Wait a minute.
always picking on
Oh,
me?
yeah.
That's the hint. You don't know that one?
No.
Charlie Brown?
Yeah, Charlie Brown. That's Charlie Brown. Yeah, they pick on old Charlie Brown in the cartoon anyway. You blockhead!
Yeah.
What a name. What a name to call somebody, a
Yeah.
blockhead. Charles Schultz must have had quite an imagination when he created those characters.
Yeah, yeah.
You remember the scene when the teacher would go, wah, wah, wah?
Oh,
wah,
yeah.
Wah, wah? Well, that came from a kind of a real life experience in his mind, he said, as a child. Because he said when he was in school and he was trying to listen to his teachers, it always sounded like they were going, wah, 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 wah,
Yeah,
wah,
yeah.
wah, wah, So he put that in the cartoon. And I just thought that was so funny.
Well, I wonder where the little redheaded girl came from.
Oh, speaking of the little redhead girl, Charlie Brown finally got to go out with the little redhead girl. Did you see the new Peanuts film?
No, I didn't.
Well, everybody's probably seen it by now. It's the three-dimensional Charlie Brown 3D. You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Well, you know how the gang always goes to the school dances and stuff? Well, the little red-haired girl happened to be there, and this time she noticed Charlie Brown, but she wasn't talking to him at first. It was something that Charlie Brown did that got the little red-haired girl's attention. His little sister, I can't think of her name.
Chrissy?
No, not
Sissy?
Lucy. I can't think of the little
I
girl.
said Sissy.
the little girl that likes Linus. I can't think of her name. She's Charlie Brown's little sister.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
I thought it was Chrissy.
Well, whatever her name is, anyway, this little girl really wanted to do something at the dance. And so Charlie Brown sacrificed what he wanted to do so that his little sister could have the opportunity. And the little red-haired girl noticed it. So they finally met in this 3D movie and got to talk to each other. And I just thought that was a wonderful thing. She said, "You're such a nice guy for doing that for your sister."
But it showed good judgment in her.
Yeah. That, because, for years, Charlie Brown had been trying to win the little red-haired girl's heart. And he finally won her heart.
And it wasn't Peppermint Patty.
No, not Peppermint Patty. She was impulsive and pushed her way into things, invited herself into stuff. "Hey, it's me, Chuck. What are you doing, Chuck?"
Yep.
So, if I were a cartoon, who would want to go out with Peppermint Patty? Yikes. Okay, let me leave her alone. I'm not going to go there. But no, that if everybody has seen that new 3D Charlie Brown movie by now. It's been out for a number of years now.
Oh, I didn't know that, huh?
Yeah, but he finally got to talk to the little red-haired girl and win her heart. And it was just such a sweet conclusion for a whole years of him trying to win her heart. Because one time he was trying to win her heart, he had to study for War and Peace.
I remember that.
You remember that episode?
Yeah, that was the New Year's special.
And it was so sad because Charlie Brown really wanted to go to that dance, but he had to stay home. So they talked him into taking a book to the dance, and he kept putting it off. Then he finally starts reading it, and he dozes off before midnight. And the little red-haired girl shows up, and Charlie Brown was sleeping right nearby.
Oh yeah.
So the little red-haired girl dances with Linus.
Yeah.
And then after midnight, when Charlie Brown finally wakes up, Linus says, "Little red-haired girl was here. She was looking for you. You were gone." So I danced with her. I was like, "Oh my goodness, he missed out again." How sad.
Yeah.
But in this 3D movie, he didn't miss out. He finally talked to her, introduced. They shook hands, won her heart.
Well, in the comics, in the newspaper, in the comic strip, I think it was about a week and a half ago now, there were frames that were concerned about the little red-headed girl was moving away. And, they're packing up, and the moving van is getting packed, and Linus is relating all of this to Charlie Brown because Charlie Brown is too shy to go over and say anything.
You know who else was shy? Made me think of. Do you remember Mr. Morton? Schoolhouse Rock? The big
Never
guy?
watched it.
This is a tale about Mr. Morton. You don't know that one, huh?
Nope, never watched
Well, he
it.
was trying to win this girl named Pearl. He was trying to win her heart. And he would knock on her door with roses, and then when she would open the door, he'd drop the roses and disappear. It was just so sad, but they finally got married on Schoolhouse Rock. And I just thought that was so cool. Yeah, this is a tale about Mr. Morton. You don't know that one, huh? Well, anyway,
Well,
just like what
see,
you were talking about.
By the time you were watching that, I was summer substituting for elementary students, and they were watching The Magic School Bus.
I think Schoolhouse Rock was brilliantly done. Are you familiar with it at all?
Never watched
Okay,
it.
you remember when you were, well, maybe it's before your time, when we were growing up, and they had the regular cartoons on, like Spider-Man and so on.
Yeah.
Just before a new cartoon would come on, they would have like this 2 or 3 minute segment of a cartoon called Schoolhouse Rock. And it would talk about history, math, English, whatever. And it was only like about 2 minutes long. It had these fun melodies with these cartoon characters. And Mr. Morton was one of the characters.
But there would be a point to it.
Yeah, there was a point to it. And where I'm going with this is when that first came out, it beat Sesame Street in the Children's Awards that year when Schoolhouse Rock first came out. Which I'm not surprised. And they have one. My personal favorite Schoolhouse Rock is Figure 8. The one that goes something like this. Let me get it up here. Hold on. I see if I can remember it. You recognize it? Well, anyway, that's a cute one. Figure 8 is half of 8. If you skate, you would be great. It just had these cute little rhyming words to get the point about the 8 times table. 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16, 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 8 is 32. And it had this cute little melody. 1 times 8 is 8, 2 times 8 is 16, 3 times 8 is 24.
Interesting, yeah.
Well, anyway.
And I think
But no, they
Times
covered
table
all
is
those subjects.
still very
The Schoolhouse
valuable.
Rock. And it was way cool, educational.
Yeah.
And it's something like 30 years old or more now, and still just as relevant today.
I just don't remember it, yeah.
Well, I'll have to show it to you when the show ends and show it to you on the computer. We're going to be running out of time here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was called Schoolhouse Rock. It defeated Sesame Street in the awards. Because usually Sesame Street was always winning, Big Bird and all those characters.
I didn't even
Schoolhouse Rock came out and smoked those guys that year.
I didn't even watch The Electric Company. I just didn't care for the concept or even American Bandstand.
But that was totally different than Schoolhouse Rock. Because there was, like Linda said, there was a point. Whether it was math, English, history, science. It's so and the number one...
It had redeeming social value.
Yeah. The number one Schoolhouse Rock to this day is Conjunction Junction.
Yeah, that's the only one I ever saw.
What's your function? Hooking up phrases and clauses together. You don't know that, do you?
Nope.
I'll have to play it for you.
That's the only one from the
And then there was another one.
Schoolhouse Rocks.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. He was a little bill. Like he was like this piece of paper twisted up, and he was waiting for the president to sign him so he could become a law. And right now I'm stuck in committee while I sit here and wait for a few key congressmen to discuss and debate whether they should make me be a law.
Yeah.
I wish I could sing that, but they're just cute little songs. Yeah, Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, interesting. I've heard of it, but I don't remember watching it,
Yeah, they had some really fun ones too. And Saturday Night Live did a spoof on I'm Just a Bill, Mr. Bill. Mm-hmm. They kept pushing him down the steps at Capitol Hill. Never mind.
Memory serves. I wonder if I didn't see that somehow deep in my memory, or like when I was 6 or 7 or 8, I might have seen something like that.
Well, Saturday Night Live, they're not sacred at all. They don't mess with anybody these days.
Well, I mean, this Schoolhouse Rock or that Bill thing.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol.
For some reason, that seems familiar. I don't know why.
Okay, I'll show it to you. We're going to be signing off here in a couple of moments. Any last minute words you want to say, Linda? Because we're almost out of time.
Well, I see by that old clock on the wall that it's time to say adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.
Yes, Lawrence Welk, you do him proud. Anyway, I'm Asaph and Emmet. We're running out of time. We're on our Chicago City set, and it's good to share this set with you because we haven't had a chance to share this. You've been in your little hiatus, gone for a while. And affectionately, we have our aging rocker Emmet, and it's always a delight to have you on. And we'll have to show you that video of the Schoolhouse Rock. You might recognize it.
Yeah, I might. You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it covered all those topics with those catchy little rhyming phrases and cute little melodies and stuff. And Blossom Dearie was my favorite. She was a jazz singer in real life, and she sounded like a little girl. And she did like unpack your adjectives. That was a fun one too, and they also did one called Mother Necessity, and then also the one I did just now, tried to do just now, Figure 8. So,
may I have another one of your cards?
Sure. And also Jack Sheldon, the jazz trumpeter for Merv Griffin, he lent his voice to Schoolhouse Rock. So he did the Conjunction Junction, hooking up phrases and clauses together. That's a fun one.
Since I was an English teacher, I wish it had been usable when I was teaching at that level.
Well, they probably hadn't created those cartoons at that time because they didn't come out till like the early 70s, I think.
Yeah.
And then it was a matter of whether you could use those in your classrooms, whether the administration of that school would allow you to do that.
Yeah. I don't know. Well...
But anyway,
it's
a good thing that they were there and that they were enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sign off right now, and Emmet, I'll show you a clip of Schoolhouse Rock. And I know you would know. I have the whole collection at home, by the way.
Wow.
I'm
fascinating.
I'm
Are
VHS
you
tape.
interested in selling it?
Probably not, but I can
Yeah.
make you a copy of it because I have one of those dual recorders.
Uh-huh. I'd like to. I'd like to give it
No,
to
I have
my
the entire
grandchildren.
yeah, I have the entire Schoolhouse Rock collection. It's like
Interesting.
all 5 or 6 VHS tapes.
Wow.
And it was a godsend when I stumbled across it. I didn't walk into the thrift store looking for it. They used to have a store nearby before they closed down, and they were just getting rid of VHS movies because, nobody uses them anymore. And I went in there one afternoon, and they had the entire Schoolhouse collection. I think I bought it for like $4.
Whoa!
I mean, the whole collection with all the subjects and so on. And I also got the whole entire Rocky and Bullwinkle collection
Wonderful.
too. There's like all 8 volumes of that. I think I got that for like $3.
Oh, I used to love that. And the Boris and Natasha.
Yeah. Well, let's end this show with Rocky and Bullwinkle.
And
I'm gonna
Fractured
play-
Fairy Tales.
Yeah, I'm gonna play that right now. See if you know this song.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep, I do.
Ciao.
All right, until our next show, Maranatha. That's how I'm gonna end
God
that
be
with
with
Fractured Fairy Tales. Well, let me sign this off, and we'll take a break. I'll show you Schoolhouse
All right.
Rock, and you can do the second show with me if you'd like.
Fascinating,
And I'll
yes.
talk to you, and I'll make you a quick copy of this.
Mm-hmm.